FBI Special Agent Doug Matthews gets an anonymous tip claiming that the McDonald's Monopoly game that had been running since 1987 was rigged. Basically, every time you buy something from McDonald's, you will reveal a game piece. The ultimate is, of course, $1 million instant win prize. Doug tracks down 3 of the names mentioned by the anonymous caller, and he realizes that all 3 of the winners were all blood related.
What are the chances?
Turns out, Adam, 1 in 216 septillion.
That's math I can't even do.
There's math we can't even do! It's very clear the scam had to be an inside job. So let me introduce you to Jerry. Jerry oversees the printing of all the instant win game pieces. So after a couple of years, he has this thought. Why send the instant winners out to be randomly found by some chump when I can pick the winner myself and take a nice big fat kickback in the process? The FBI were going to have to be strategic and covert in tracking this guy down. They now realize a massive chunk of all these lucky winners have all been felons.
So how much has McDonald's given away to these dodgy people?
So much money. Welcome to The Compendium, an assembly of fascinating things. A weekly variety podcast that gives you just enough information to stand your ground at any social gathering.
We explore stories from the darker corners of true crime, the hidden gems of history, and the jaw-dropping deeds of extraordinary people.
I am, of course, Kyle Risi, your ringmaster for this week's episode.
And I'm Adam Cox, the PA to the animals of the circus. Well, it's been a tough week. I've only just started, and
But you're the PA to all of the animals?
all of the animals.
The lions? The bears?
Yeah.
The meerkats? Your mum?
Hang on.
Yeah.
No. But the animals, yes. So just a couple of quick updates whilst I've got you.
Okay.
Daphne, the dolphin, cannot make the board meeting tomorrow.
No, why is that?
She says she has better things to do.
Okay, well, we'll have to circle back on this. Put a pin in that.
Yeah, and then Zoe, the zebra, cannot be in the same room with Larry, the lion, anymore after he tried to take a chunk of her rear.
Of her rear?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of firefighting.
Okay, well, I would appreciate if we could get HR onto this, because this is not acceptable, Adam.
Well, Sue's on holiday.
What has this devolved into? Guys, if you are new to the show and you want to support us in the absolute best way to support the show and continue enjoying some exclusive perks is to join us over at Patreon, because signing up is free and you will get access to next week's episode a whole 7 days before anyone else.
And for as little as $5 a month,
Just $5.
you can become a fellow freak of the show, which will unlock our entire back catalogue, including classic episodes about the history of the NHS and then the Roswell incident. That was pretty interesting.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
A whole lot of boo-hockey, as some might say.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, Adam, because the real reason to sign up as a certified freak and a big top tier member is because you get exclusive access, may I add, to our compendium keychain. It is, as we always say, tacky. I say tasteful.
I'd say
It's side boob tasteful.
yeah.
It's bold. It is beautiful, and is the single best way for us to always ensure we're there, dangling near your crotch.
If anything, you can almost use it as a codpiece.
Yeah, more like Henry VIII.
Yeah.
Explain.
It's almost big enough for a codpiece, I
Yeah,
feel.
but you can't get into the keychain and wear it like a codpiece, like Henry VIII.
No, I mean, you could, I don't know, re-engineer it. Do what you want with it.
Or just like a big belt buckle.
Yeah, sure, a codpiece.
That's not a thing.
And lastly, guys, please follow us on your favorite podcast app and leave us a review. Your support helps others find us and keeps these amazing stories coming.
Actually, the reviews have been quite slow recently. We've had a few really nice ones, but for some reason they've slowed down. And I don't know, maybe we need to change this a little bit up so you guys can understand that we don't ever want you to stop sending reviews.
Yeah, we're desperate.
It's one of the best things about waking up in the morning. Because normally the Americans leave the reviews while we're asleep. So we get to wake up and they're like, oh, yeah, there's some nice reviews from the Americans.
Yeah, I've had to start leaving fake reviews just so you don't, get too sad.
That's it. Guys, that's enough of the housekeeping. Because Adam, today on the Compendium, we are diving into an assembly of pass and go, collecting the money, and discovering that the game pieces were stolen long before the first roll was ever rolled.
For starters, this has got to be about Monopoly because of pass and go. So, is it the history of Monopoly? Was I looking at that?
Possibly. The history of Monopoly, yeah, because it was invented by a woman, right? And I think it's
right.
definitely been on our radar. It's been suggested a few times by the Patreons.
Yes, I think I researched it, but then, we didn't come back to it.
It's because she was a woman.
That's not the reason.
We're not giving more airtime.
No one's going to be interested in that. No, so I don't, unless it is the history.
Adam, today I'm taking us back to the early 2000s. Specifically to a little FBI office in Jacksonville, Florida. This is where we meet FBI Special Agent Doug Matthews. Now, Doug is younger than the other agents at this office, and it's because this FBI office was the kind of place where aged out agents who had already lived through their glory days typically came to unwind before their retirement. It's where they come to die.
Okay.
So it's fair to say when it comes to enthusiasm for FBI work, it was pretty much Doug alone who had most of it. But there wasn't really much going on that really excited Doug. Most of the cases that he was assigned were kind of white-collar crime, a bit of bank fraud, a bit of healthcare fraud. If he was lucky, they might land the odd corruption case. So it is fair to say that this isn't what Doug had envisioned for his career. Do you know what I mean? It's like you. You dream of a job in marketing, and you think, oh, I've got big hopes. I'm going to come up with the next Coca-Cola ad that's just going to blow everyone away. I'm going to be the next Don Draper. And then you end up selling raffle tickets.
Hey.
For a sports car.
I'd do more than that.
Doug is in the same position as you are.
I don't know if he is.
He is. He wanted to unfoil the next Enron, but yet he's dealing with a bit of healthcare fraud.
As much as I want to make this about me, what is it about this guy? Come on, then.
Okay, so basically, Doug wants excitement, right? He does consider relocating a couple times, but family commitments and responsibilities meant that he was stuck in Jacksonville for now. However, Doug does make the best of his situation because he was lucky enough to be partnered with the legendary agent Rick Dent, which meant that he learned a lot. But at the same time, Doug describes Rick as having as much personality as this table.
I mean, it's white.
Did you say it's white?
Yeah.
You have the personality of a white man. Basically, he's saying that Rick is really ready for his retirement.
I see.
One day, Doug notices a note on Rick's desk that reads, McDonald's Monopoly fraud.
Okay.
And he asks Rick about it. And he sort of rolls his eyes. This is Rick. And he's like, it was an anonymous tip claiming that the McDonald's Monopoly game that had been running twice a year every year since 1987, this is 2001.
That long?
Was rigged. And that the caller thought that this might be something that they ought to look into. Now, to Rick, this sounded like it was a jaded customer who, despite trying to play the game every year, never won anything. And so thought, the FBI need to hear about this. So he's like, it's a jaded customer.
Yeah.
So desperate to work on anything other than healthcare fraud, Doug asks if he can look into it to see if there's any substance to this. Rick is basically like, whatever, as long as it means I don't have to do it. Because like I said, I'm ready to die. So Doug makes a few calls. He tracks down 3 of the names mentioned by the anonymous caller, and he realizes that all 3 of the winners were all blood related.
Okay, that sounds a bit suspicious. What are the chances a whole family member, a group of family members?
3 people, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, turns out, Adam, incredibly slim. So for a bit of context, the odds of winning the Powerball in America today is 1 in 292 million.
That sounds pretty slim.
Playing the McDonald's Monopoly game, the chances of finding one of the ultra-rare pieces, the top-tier pieces, like Boardwalk, is 1 in 600 million.
So that's more.
It's huge. It's twice as hard to win the McDonald's top-tier prize than it is to win the Powerball. You've got better odds playing the Powerball than you do playing McDonald's Monopoly.
I see. I get it.
So it's not impossible, but the odds are incredibly small. But remember, Adam, what Doug is looking at is 3 huge winners all from the same family. So the chances of that happening are even greater, and it sets it at 1 in 216 septillion.
That's math I can't even do.
There's math we can't even do. That's literally what I wrote down. How amazing you said that.
I mean, you bring up Friends reference all the time.
So for Doug, this is like worth looking into a little bit more. He pulls the list of all the big winners spanning back to 1987, so 13 years at this point, and he realizes it wasn't just these three winners that were linked. It was just about all of them.
Ah.
And so today, Adam, I'm going to tell you about the great McDonald's Monopoly heist.
Do you know what? This is jogging something in the archives. Like I remember,
Of your mind.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a documentary that I watched about this.
Were you planning on doing this episode for me at any point?
No.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I'm trying to remember this now, but yeah, I can't remember because I know there's the whole, not quite the same thing, the whole thing with Pepsi and the guy that wanted a helicopter. Like if he collected enough tokens or something like that, he could basically
get like a Marsh Harrier kind of plane fighter thing. Yes,
That's
I remember.
Right, because how it was advertised on TV when it was actually a joke, but he managed to pull it off.
Yes.
So then he took them to court, whatever.
Because they were like, but no reasonable person would have expected that to actually be a prize. And
yeah.
It's like, I think so. And then, yeah. But he won, but they didn't actually have a Harrier fighter jet to give him. And he was like, no, I want one. You have to source one.
Yeah. So it's not that. So I have no idea. Tell me more about this case, this fraud.
So my first question for you then, Adam, is what do you know about the McDonald's Monopoly game? Have you ever played?
Yeah, I'm not a big McDonald's fan, but I know when you buy McDonald's, you rip off a piece of card on your coffee cup or whatever, and it's like a piece from Monopoly, and you collect so many and you get rewards like a free McFlurry, maybe some money, maybe a games console, small prizes.
Yes, and as you said, we personally haven't really played it, but we are very much aware of it. I wouldn't exactly go out of my way to buy McDonald's just to see if I've won a prize, but the concept of playing is fairly straightforward, especially if you're familiar with the actual game of Monopoly. Basically, every time you buy something from McDonald's, like a Big Mac or fries, the container will always have this peel-off sticker, which upon peeling it back, you will reveal a game piece, which is typically one of the properties that you find in Monopoly or one of the utilities. The aim, obviously, is to collect a set, which will then in turn unlock some prizes. The higher the property value for the set, the bigger the prize you win, basically. So, for example, if you collect both Park Lane and Mayfair, which is actually Park Place and Boardwalk in the USA, then the big prize will be the $1 million prize.
Right, okay.
But you can also win through the instant win pieces. These are sort of standalone pieces, which you peel back and will say something like, congratulations, Adam, you have won $500,000. But the ultimate instant win prize is, of course, Adam, the $1 million instant win prize. And of course, throughout most of our lives, this game has just been a given, right? McDonald's been running this since 1987. So that's huge. That's the year you were born. It has proved so successful that it is now a biannual thing. So they run it twice a year. And over the years, McDonald's has given away over $1 billion in prizes. That is just in the US alone, which is huge. The last game, however, in the USA was in 2014, which they say was retired due to the lingering hangover of this particular scam that we're going to talk about today. But the USA's appetite seems to have returned, Adam, because the game's returned in October 2025 after a decade-long hiatus. But of course, it's all obviously app-based. You can still obviously get all the game pieces, except when you peel back the ticket, you've got to scan a QR code, and that then reveals a win, which means that you've got to go through the app. Then they've got all your information. It's a massive data-gathering scam.
And an easier way to fudge the winnings because they can control what gets won better.
Exactly. But they can also make sure that there's no frauds going on, right? Because it's all in a database somewhere. But as far as marketing campaigns go, the McDonald's Monopoly game is up there as one of the most successful fast food promotion campaigns in history. Like, whoever was running the McDonald's marketing, they are in like the big league. So this company called Simon Marketing is the one who kind of like takes care of this for McDonald's. They are huge. In fact, the same marketing company, Simon Marketing, is also responsible for the second most successful marketing campaign for a fast food company in history. And again, it was also for McDonald's. Can you guess what that was?
Is it the I'm Loving It sort of song with Justin Timberlake?
Nope.
Happy Meal.
They came up with a Happy Meal, which I think is incredible. Like, it's ever since I have known McDonald's, the Happy Meal's been like a staple, right?
You'd want the Happy Meal. You'd want to collect all the pieces. Yeah.
It's a good manipulation tactic for kids, right?
Absolutely.
So Special Agent Doug Matthews, back in Jacksonville, he continues digging. He keeps hearing the same name of the supposed mastermind behind this entire scheme coming up. It's not much to go on because the name is pretty vague, but it's still distinctive nonetheless, and it's just two words.
Right.
Uncle Jerry.
Okay.
It's very clear the scam had to be an inside job, but pinpointing who this Uncle Jerry was, this character, was going to be hard because a scam as big as this likely meant that Uncle Jerry was likely just a pseudonym used by someone very smart operating in the shadows somewhere. You got to remember the pool of people that they would need to sift through to try and find who this Uncle Jerry might be is just huge. First of all, the game pieces for the McDonald Monopoly game, they're all printed in factories with hundreds of members of staff. They are then distributed to dozens of factories that make all the packaging, right? Each of those have hundreds, if not thousands of employees as well. So it could be any one of them. And from there, the packaging is then shipped across the USA by hundreds of different truck drivers, delivered to some 14,000 stores who collectively employ more than 800,000 people in the US alone.
So you've got a lot of staff that are directly employed by McDonald's, and then you've got everyone else that's kind of
making this happen.
Yeah. So it absolutely has to be an inside job, right? If someone's getting these specific tokens and then handing them out to certain people, then they've got to have access to the plant which is printing these, right?
Sure. Yeah. They're also quite centralized to a typical area. So it could be someone at the branch level stealing them, because they also get given a bunch of tokens as well to hand out. The reason for that is because without that, it's a form of gambling. So they call it a sweepstake. You can, if you want to, simply go into the store and just say, I'd like some game pieces, and they'll hand you some across. Otherwise, it's considered gambling.
Yes, I know all about that.
You do, because you're a marketer. So
Yes.
you know this. So it could even be someone at the store who's stolen a batch and is handing them out, right? But at the same time, it might also not be them, because they're managing to get some of these big prizes. And they're, as we know, extremely rare to get even just one, let alone a bunch of them across 14 years.
Yeah, I imagine it's really rare just to have a town have lots of the same big prizes, right?
So basically, the list of potential suspects in this is just endless. So finding this Uncle Jerry seems like it was going to be impossible. The FBI were going to have to both be strategic and covert in tracking this guy down. So let me introduce you to Jerry.
Okay.
His name is Jerry.
Oh. And is he an uncle?
I assume he's an uncle, yeah. So his name's Jerry Jacobson. He was born in 1943 in Ohio. When he's a teenager, his family moved to Miami, Florida. And soon after he comes of age, Jerry decides that he wants to make it as a U.S. Marine. You know, jumping, skipping, more jumping.
I don't know if that's what they
Shooting,
do.
pew!
They're skipping on a boat.
I don't know what U.S. Marines do. Is Marine isn't like the Navy, right? That's different in America.
The Marines is a lot more like hardcore exercise.
Like special ops, like go and get like Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden?
Osama bin Laden!
They're like Navy SEALs, so that's a bit different. I don't know, actually.
Yeah, he wants to be a Marine. And for some reason, I don't know what that is.
I feel like I should have Googled that.
So, but on account of having high arches, apparently he fails the Marine kind of fitness test, and so he is rejected. Do you know what high arches are?
No.
High arches means that the arch of your foot is just too high. So it means that it can really impair your ability to jump and march, which is why I said skipping.
Oh, so you can't have high arches in order to be in the Marines?
I think so.
You're looking for someone with flat feet.
No, high arches. He's got high arches. That's why he was rejected.
Yeah, so therefore Marines are looking for flat foot
Oh,
people.
I thought you meant the FBI.
Oh.
If I did Jerry, they need to find someone with high arches.
Take off your shoes.
The point is, Jerry is Devo. So he does the next best thing, and he joins the Hollywood, Florida Police Department.
Is that the next best thing?
Well, he's going to be a police officer, so I guess so. I guess it is. What is the next best thing?
Well, after a Marine, I wouldn't say, oh, and just go do that in Florida.
Go join the Navy?
Go join the pantomime?
That's not the next best thing.
Isn't it?
No, it's really not. This is going off topic. Anyway, everything's going great for the first couple of years until he ends up injuring his wrist trying to tackle a perp. And as a result, he ends up going on medical leave. Sadly, things do not get better for him because after a few years, he ends up just collapsing one day in like paralysis. He loses like feeling in his arms and his legs. He even loses feeling in his fucking lungs, Adam.
Can you feel your lungs?
I don't know. Maybe his diaphragm.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can't feel your lungs, can you?
No.
So they do a bunch of tests on him, and it turns out that he has this really super rare neurological disorder. And so all of his hopes of returning back to the police force are just dashed overnight. Jerry's wife, Marsha, who is also a cop, she is forced to resign so that she can take care of him full time. Now, his medical leave eventually expires, and so the police are forced to let him go. And so Jerry falls into this massive depression. He starts gambling, which really fucks both him and Marsha over. He promises to quit and get back on the straight and narrow. But it means, as well as Marsha caring for him physically, she now has to go off and find a job to support them both, which is tough, right? I'm a traditional man, and it means if you have to work twice as hard to support us, god damn it. So in 1981, they both decide to relocate to Atlanta, Georgia to start over. Jerry recovers just enough to get work as a mechanic in some garage, and Marsha picks up work as an accounting security auditor for a firm called the Dittler Brothers. So they're basically people that specialize in high security printing, things like lottery tickets and postage stamps and things like that. They also kind of print sweepstake competition materials for companies like McDonald's.
Got you.
The thing, though, is that they're very good at printing tamper-proof technology like scratch-offs and stickers that kind of break apart when you peel them back. So they know that you've kind of like opened the envelope or whatever. Marsha, in this job, she ends up climbing the ranks pretty quickly, and eventually she manages to get Jerry a job working as a security specialist managing the production of the printing of these pieces.
So, yeah, make sure they're not
being stolen, basically.
Okay, fine.
Because he's really militant about this, right? Remember, he's an ex-cop, so he's perfect for the job. He's also very suspicious of anyone who comes close to the printing production line. He will routinely check workers' shoes to see if they've got anything hidden inside them.
Really? That, like, almost like when they search a prison for any contraband or something like that.
Lift the balls.
Yeah. Like the cleaner, like, what do you got in your bag there? Well, some cleaning products. Let me see.
It's exactly that. And this is just a little printing place, right? But the stakes are high because the things that they're printing are lottery tickets, they are scratch-offs, and they are big prizes for places like McDonald's, which they haven't started the monopoly bit just yet, but they will be. But by 1983, Marsha discovers a bunch of new gambling debts that Jerry has been racking up after he promised, of course, that he would stop. Things end up getting really ugly, and in the end, Marsha has had enough and she just files for divorce. Jerry, however, he stays at the firm, and so does Marsha, which must be awkward. But watching from the sidelines is one of Dittler Brothers' key clients, a company called Simon Marketing. They basically use Dittler Brothers to print a ton of the promotional marketing campaigns that they're doing. They are super impressed with how seriously Jerry seems to take security in his job. One of Simon Marketing's biggest clients, as we've already alluded to, is McDonald's. And their relationship is now stepping up a gear as they were on the cusp of launching one of the biggest promotional campaigns to date, the McDonald's Monopoly Games. The campaign is worth $500 million to Simon Marketing, which basically accounts for 95% of their total revenue in the years that they run this. So it's huge.
That is not good for any agency.
Absolutely. And if they wanted this to be a repeat thing with McDonald's, then they were going to need to really impress them. So Simon Marketing needed someone who was vigilant in overseeing the security of this new promotional game. And from what they could tell, Jerry is basically their man. So in 1987, Jerry joined Simon Marketing. They run the first Monopoly game. It's a massive success, so much so that McDonald's decides that they will not only run the campaign again, but they want to do it twice a year, every year.
So are they still using Dittler publications or printing or whatever?
Yeah, so they're printing it. Simon Marketing is in charge of designing and sorting out the game on behalf of McDonald's. So they're working partners.
And so Jerry's moved across to Simon Marketing.
Not quite. So it's difficult to explain. He's employed by Simon Marketing, but he is Simon Marketing's man at Dittler Brothers.
Okay.
So he is, because remember, Dittler Brothers is managing the printing of them. So he is very often at Dittler Brothers, even though he works for Simon Marketing, because he does all the security across those two things. And he's got license to go between the two.
But Dittler Brothers they sound good, but are they big enough for someone like McDonald's? Or are they quite a still small-time company?
No, they're big. So Dittler Brothers, they have a dedicated setup of printing machines that run 24 hours a day just for McDonald's, right? They print, Adam, 500 million game pieces just for one stint of the biannual Monopolies game. Mm-hmm. So that's huge. Jerry's role is to oversee the printing of all the collectible pieces, but also the instant win game pieces. The instant win game pieces that are printed, the security around these in particular is taken very seriously. Jerry is in charge of ensuring basically that they are locked in this really super secure vault with multiple layers of security. Now, I'm talking 2 combination locks. There's a bunch of keys. You also have to enter in a PIN number. It's just ridiculous when there's 2 people there as well.
Like a retina scan?
I don't think a retina scan at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had the technology back then that there would be a retina scan involved.
I see.
Jerry is also in charge, though, of the distribution of these instant win game pieces to the packaging manufacturers' factories once they've actually been printed. And the way it works is that Jerry will basically place the pieces inside an envelope, which is then locked securely inside a briefcase. And then, accompanied by another security agent, they will fly out to the McDonald's packaging factories across the country. And when they get there, Jerry will be like, bring me a pallet of Big Mac containers or whatever. And so the workers will then bring through this pallet. He'll then pick a stack, which he'll then place the instant winner stickers on. Then when the other security agent is happy, they'll then mix up the batch and then tell the factory to distribute these. And that's a job, Adam. Jerry gets paid handsomely. Like, he gets paid like $70,000 a year. Now remember, that's 1988 money.
Yeah, he does all right for himself.
So after a couple of years of running the McDonald's Monopoly game, he has this thought that pops into his head. Why send the instant winners out to be randomly found by some chump when I can pick the winner myself and take a nice big fat kickback in the process?
So he's starting to get greedy, because that must, if he's the one that's putting on those stickers, it must be kind of like, who's going to open this or whatever? And wouldn't
some drug dealer somewhere. How? I don't want that.
Yeah, or a homeless man.
Oh, well, you do want that.
Well, no, Jerry doesn't. He wants to give it to someone he knows, clearly.
Sure, yes. So Jerry starts small. He's not going to be going straight for the $1 million prize initially. He needs to kind of prove that the process works first, right? He doesn't want to get caught. So he swaps out a $25,000 instant winner piece. He replaces it with some worthless McFlurry level kind of piece. And then he seals the envelope up as if nothing happened.
So where does he do this? Because is this not like really heightened security?
No. So at this point, after they come off the printing line, he'll kind of peel them off, put them all into the envelopes.
Yep.
He'll put them into the safe. At that point, he's probably just stealing them. And then in its place, he's just popping a random worthless one.
Yeah.
When he gets to the factory, he is the one then pulling out that McFlurry one. No one can see it because remember, it's sealed. He's got a little cover on it.
I see.
Even if someone else is doing it, it's not going to matter because it's got a little flap on it. As soon as you lift that flap, then it doesn't stick down anymore.
Got you.
So then he's going to stick that on there. But they're trusting him that he has put the big game piece in there.
Right.
But he's stolen the 25,000 instant winner piece. And when he gets home that night, he starts thinking about who he can possibly give this piece to. And so a few weeks later, at a family barbecue, he slips the 25,000 instant winner piece to his stepbrother, Marvin. And he later says, when asked, why Marvin? Why'd you give it to him? And basically, Jerry shrugs and he says, I don't know, I just wanted to show him I could do something.
Okay. And also, is it like, what if he gets caught? It's Marvin's fault.
Yeah, which basically translates to Jerry basically thinks that he is the loser of the family.
Yeah, I guess so. He didn't make the Marines.
No, he didn't.
And now he's just putting labels on things and sending them out.
So here's a $25,000 game piece. Please stop telling mum and dad I'm a loser.
Yeah.
So next, Jerry takes a trip to his local butcher's. The butcher hears that Jerry runs the security for McDonald's Monopoly and is super impressed by this. Like, he is like, do you know what? I really wish I could win. And Jerry is like, funny you say that.
I can make it happen.
I can literally make that happen. And the butcher's like, really? And Jerry is like, yes, but not for you.
You haven't got enough money.
No, basically it's because we're neighbors, right? And we're also mates. So it's going to look dodgy. So
Yeah.
he needs to be really aware of that. And so the butcher's like, all right, what if it's not me who claims it? What if it's a trusted friend, maybe someone out of state who has no connection to us? Plus, I will give you a cut of the winnings, Jerry. And so long story short, Jerry hands over a $10,000 instant win piece to the butcher. The butcher's mate ends up claiming the prize. And a few weeks later, Jerry gets a nice sexy kickback of $2,000.
So he's gotten 20% from that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Not bad. And there's no connection.
And then the butcher's probably got to give a cut to the person that's out of state or whatever. So he's only probably just earned himself maybe $6,000.
Yeah.
But still, for doing nothing.
And the point is, no one clocks a thing, right? The entire plan works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jerry starts thinking of ways that he can pretty much scale the entire operation up because that means bigger and bigger kickbacks.
See, this is the thing. This is always
Get too
people's
greedy.
downfall. If he could have just carried on doing like a 10K every other month, he probably would have been fine.
That's right. But just as Jerry is about to turn this entire thing into a proper little operation, he gets hit with a massive problem because other people have had the exact same idea that he has, but further down the chain.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait, order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
So a 17-year-old McDonald's worker steals like a ton of game pieces that get sent to the restaurant for that sweepstake purposes.
Got you, yeah.
He ends up selling them online. He eventually gets busted, and McDonald's goes into full-on panic because it's a potential PR nightmare. Mm-hmm. They end up overhauling the entire security protocol across the entire chain. That includes production, handling, and distribution. And basically, the aim is to directly cut down on anyone's access to these game pieces. And that includes Jerry's access. They don't suspect him in any way. They're just like, this is the security for it, right?
Yeah, they've got to treat everyone the same.
Exactly. McDonald's goal is that no one gets any meaningful contact with any of the instant win pieces unless there is a check or balance in place. Which means that now Jerry isn't cutting out the game pieces from the printing sheets. That's now someone else's job completely. Then someone else will put the pieces into these envelopes, which are now sealed with a tamper-proof sticker that is printed by a company in Hong Kong. So you can't fake that. Mm-hmm. Jerry is still involved, however, but it's in the distribution that he's involved in. So even that gets a bit tighter because now, on the day that he heads out to the packaging factories, he is not the one to go into the vault to collect the pieces. That's handed to him by someone else. From there, he will then travel with the second security officer, so that stays the same. They head to the factory, but when they get to the factory, someone else then affixes the playing piece to the package. So it's not him. So Jerry only basically gets contact with the game pieces during delivery. That is it.
Fine. So he's almost like just a delivery person.
Exactly.
Who just helps assist moving it along.
Exactly. And while he's doing the delivery, he is with someone else the whole time, but also the game pieces are in an envelope with a tamper seal sticker on it that is only printed in Hong Kong.
So yeah, he can't do it anymore.
No. This is pretty much the process for like 6 years. There is just no way for Jerry to get access to the pieces without it being obvious.
It must be killing him thinking, I got away with it before.
Yeah.
How? And I reckon for those 6 years, he's planning, how do I get back into this?
Yes. But then, Adam, in 1995, a package lands on Jerry's desk. When he opens it, he realizes that the company in Hong Kong that makes the tamper-proof stickers has accidentally sent him the latest batch.
That's lucky.
And from that moment on, everything changes. Because now Jerry can open up the envelope, he can swap out the instant win pieces, he can reseal it with a new tamper-proof sticker, and it will look completely untouched. But there is still one obstacle that he needs to overcome. And that is the second security officer who's always with him when he travels. If he is going to resume this operation, he needs to basically try and get around her. Eventually, it dawns on him he can use gender dynamics, and he can leverage the one thing a woman can't do that a man can.
Oh, penis model.
He's going to become a penis model. Close. Genuinely.
Oh, really?
Genuinely close. He's basically going to nip to the men's room.
Oh, yeah. And so whilst he's there, He's obviously doing a switcheroo.
I thought you were going to say, while he's there, he's going to do some penis modeling.
Well, yeah.
Really, when you're saying that you're urinal, that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So basically, in the loo, he'll lock himself in the stall. He'll then open up the envelopes. He'll replace the instant win game pieces and reseal the envelope. The entire process literally takes 3 minutes tops because he's only taking 2 or 3 out, right?
So he's taking some pieces already with him to do the switch. I'm guessing these are just basic pieces that he can get his hands on.
Yes, so he would have found those. He can get them anywhere. They could be last year's ones. I don't know.
Fine. Okay, so he can do that sort of switch.
So the whole process, like I said, takes a couple of minutes longer if he actually does need a wee. And that's a little bit suspicious.
So why is he allowed to go to the toilet without that other person?
Remember, they are a team, right? They're not suspicious of each other. Mm-hmm. So the process is that they always need to ensure that the pieces are always inside of at least one of them.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, what you should have done in that scenario, or what the law is, someone has to stay in public view with them, not take them to a closed door.
That's right, yeah. Major oversight, I would say.
Yeah.
And so now, Adam, basically, he's got a way to get hold of the pieces, but he still doesn't know if he can actually move the $1 million win without McDonald's digging into who the claimant is and then potentially tracing that back to him, right? Mm-hmm. He needs to be able to test that out first. So in a bit of a strange strategic move, he decides that the first $1 million winner is going to be St Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Tennessee.
No one will suspect them.
Exactly, but this does 2 things, basically. He knows that if the children's charity wins, this will attract a lot of public interest, which will then allow him to follow this much better from afar without asking questions inside McDonald's. He can just see what the media is saying about it.
Interesting. And I guess at this point, he's letting them win. Mm-hmm. And so he just wants to see how it plays out.
Yes. But also, the second thing is that if he does get busted, he can use this as a defense to say, well, I was just playing Robin Hood. And the hope is that a jury would then see this as an overt act and they would be softer on him if he ever got prosecuted.
Wow, he's quite smart. I like that.
That's where it ends.
Okay.
But basically what that is, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's his get out of jail card.
See what you did there.
So on the 12th of November 1995, a donation clerk at St Jude's Hospital opens up an anonymous letter, and inside it she finds a greeting card, and inside that she finds the $1 million instant win game piece. They are completely freaked out. Obviously, this is going to be incredible for the kids.
So they've just been sent it. It's not like one of them's gone to McDonald's and...
Yeah, so he has just sent it to them in the post inside a greeting card.
Well, that sounds suspicious.
It is, but it looks like it's some kind of charity thing, right? Some good doer. But that's the point, right? It's amazing, but also they're wondering who the hell sends an anonymous $1 million playing piece in the post like this to a charity. Who would do that?
But if I was McDonald's, I would go, that's a bit odd.
Yes.
I know you can't question it enough to take the money back, but that would still make me look at security around that period.
Yes. But also, I would think I would claim the piece myself as the person who found it. Pay the taxes or whatever, because in America you pay taxes, you don't in the UK, and then give them a portion of it, so at least I have some of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is very generous, and therefore, in my opinion, feels a little bit suspicious. So there is, of course, a bunch of intrigue for a while, but the only clue that they really have about who sent it is a postmark which suggests that it was sent from somewhere in Dallas the day after Thanksgiving. So again, a lot of people are really generous around the holiday times, right?
Mm-hmm, true.
St Jude's, they claim the price. McDonald's, they rush in to authenticate the win. They all agree it is legit. McDonald's and St Jude's, they hold this big press conference with McDonald's using this, obviously, as a bit of PR. Mm-hmm. What is the PR now? McDonald's gives kids diabetes and then gives $1 million to a children's charity to help treat the diabetes. Of course, Ronald McDonald is there. He hands St Jude's a massive check. They also bring in a bunch of other kids who are like, yay, insulin. But for the New York Times, as much as they love this story, they really want to know who this anonymous donor is.
Exactly.
And for a time, this is where kind of Jerry is testing everything, right? He's on tender hooks. He's expecting someone to try and look into him, but he wants to see how foolproof his anonymity is, basically. Mm-hmm. And honestly, in the end, other than the postmark originating from Dallas, the New York Times really don't have anything to go on. And so this is Jerry in the clear, and it gives him the confidence that he can possibly get away with this. So Jerry goes back to his butcher and he tells him that the operation is back on and he wants to try again. And it's the same deal as before. It cannot be the butcher himself. It needs to be someone else that he trusts. And this time it'll be for the $200,000 piece, which he will give in exchange for $45,000.
Nice. That's a nice little earn of that.
Now, the butcher is like, my sister is the perfect person. I trust her implicitly. Plus, she could really do with the money. And she lives in Maryland, so she's miles away. The plan is that the butcher will then visit his sister in Maryland. He will then hand her the instant game piece. She'll then go to McDonald's. She'll buy a Big Mac or whatever, and then she'll call in the win. Typical stuff. We know this. Except when the butcher goes to Maryland, he doesn't give the game piece to his sister. He claims the money himself.
Oh, but he said he wasn't going to do that.
And Jerry only finds out when he sees him on telly grinning like an idiot holding a giant check for $200,000.
Right, so that's the connection now to Jerry.
Yeah. So it's not ideal because now there's a direct line between Jerry and the winner, basically. But it does get worse because the butcher also stiffs Jerry out of his $45,000 cut.
Really?
He only gives him $4,000.
I was going to ask, how trustworthy is this butcher?
He's not. And Jerry is furious. And the butcher is like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to call the cops?
Yeah.
And Jerry's like, good point.
Smart.
That day, basically, Jerry learns a very hard lesson on who to trust when it comes to crime. If you can't trust your butcher, Adam, who the hell can you trust in this world?
Well, yeah, no one. Butcher is the most trustworthy person there ever is.
Well, there's one other person you can trust.
Yeah, your mum.
No. How about a mob boss?
Oh. I mean, that wouldn't have been top of my list.
So a bit bruised by the butcher's betrayal, Jerry is one day catching a flight out from Atlanta Airport when he casually strikes up a conversation with a man by the name of Gerano Colombo. Adam, he literally looks like Al Capone. It is so uncanny. When you see his mugshot, it's mental.
So is he like, are you in the mob?
Well, they get to talking. Jerry asks where you're flying to. Colombo then pulls out a fat stack of like $100 bills and he's like, I'm off to Atlanta City, baby. And then literally before Jerry can even tell him anything about himself, Colombo then tells him that he's a member of the Colombo crime family, one of the big 5 mafia families in New York City.
Wow.
You got to remember though, like he knows nothing about Jerry at this point. For all he knows, Jerry could be a cop,
yeah,
which he used to be.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, so he's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a mob boss.
But to be fair, the police probably know about this guy anyway.
Possibly, yeah, he's not hiding it. But just, you don't tell someone that, it's a random stranger. Anyway, he tells Jerry that he now lives in South Carolina where he runs a few underground casinos, but also that he recently opened up a new strip club, which he's really proud of, because initially the zoning laws of the town prohibited him from opening up a strip club. So to get around this, he registers the strip club as a church.
Really?
And the authorities, they end up rubber stamping it. And then, of course, to their horror, on the day of opening, they discover that it's a strip club that he has called the Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies.
The Fuzzy Bunnies? What? And are they dressed in like religious robes and then they just whip them off?
Yeah, so like when they're doing the ceremony, they have to read the Bible for a bit. And then at the end of the service, all the pews turn into like fold out strip tables.
No.
No, I don't know. They don't do that, but that's what I imagine. And Jerry's like, damn, this guy knows how to skirt around the rules.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe, just maybe, he's the kind of guy that I can trust more than my butcher, more than my mother, and someone who might not stiff me.
I mean, I'm going to say it doesn't end well because we're talking about it. Mm-hmm. So it probably doesn't end well.
So apparently he tells Jerry, oh, by the way, the reason why he opened up the Church of the Fuzzy Buzzies is because he tells Jerry that God had come to him in a dream and told him to start up a church.
I don't think he meant a strip club.
I know. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I will do. I'll turn this into the Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies. So Jerry tells Colombo what he does for a living. Colombo, of course, from a notable crime family, sees dollar signs. And before you know it, they have teamed up to test the process. Jerry gives him an instant win piece for a car, which Colombo claims for himself. But instead of obviously taking the car, he ends up taking the cash value, which I think is what most people would do. Everything goes off without a hitch. There's no red flags that are raised. And so from that moment, Colombo and Jerry become business associates, which is when Colombo starts referring to Jerry as Uncle Jerry.
Because he's now joined the mob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess it's like a classic.
It's Uncle Jerry.
Uncle Jerry, yeah.
I don't know if he's Italian.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, good.
Crime family in New York.
Just check it. I don't want to
Jerry's not Italian. He's like from Ohio.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the arrangement is that Uncle Jerry will filter through the game pieces to Columbo at the start of every game. Columbo will then distribute them through his connections and facilitate any kickbacks to Jerry after he takes his own cut. The first two winners Columbo picks are his father and brother-in-law.
Okay, so this is where it really starts to go wrong.
Yes, so these are people of the same family, which we know is the red flag that Agent Doug Matthews picks up on later on.
But is Uncle Jerry happy with this? Because is he not like, oh, can we try and keep it to these people?
I think they definitely had that conversation, but this is now done, right? So they know that they've potentially flown close to the sun at this point, and so they start to stay clear away from direct family members for a while. So while Columbo and his wife, Robin, are umming and ahhing about who to pick next, Robin suggests her best friend, Gloria. She isn't family. She's also a woman, because the last two have just been men. And they can spread things out geographically in a way, because they'll use an address of one of Columbo's associates in Belfort, South Carolina. And basically, it won't obviously raise any red flags. So they bring Gloria to meet Jerry in Jacksonville, Florida. They agree on a fee of $40,000 for the $1 million prize game piece. So that's a slightly smaller margin. Gloria has to remortgage her house, Adam, to secure the cash.
Ah, I see. So Jerry's kind of caught on to this. Like, I'm not just giving you the game piece. You have to give me a down payment.
Yes, I think he's playing it a bit safe. He doesn't want to get stiffed again. So once Gloria gets the money from the bank, they then arrange to meet up on a long stretch of Interstate 95 where they then make the exchange. Jerry hands her the game piece in like this little airport liquor bottle, which was a strange detail. I guess maybe he's put it in there with tweezers so he doesn't get any fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
Columbo then coaches Gloria on a plausible backstory and then how to fake the instant win when she claims the prize. Because you've got to be like surprised, right? Like, oh my God, I won.
Yeah, you should be.
Columbo then drives them to a local McDonald's while she goes in and buys her Big Mac or whatever. This essentially gives them a timestamp for the purchase, right? So if anyone ever questions it, then they could be like, yeah, this is when I got it. I was at this McDonald's. You can see here's my receipt, etc. Bit of a safety net.
I always would think, like, with something like this, McDonald's or whatever company, they would know where the winning piece always goes to or something like that. They'd always go, oh, we know it's being sent to Chicago or this, that, and the other. So I'm guessing they didn't. No,
I don't think so, because it's just random, right?
Yeah.
So a little while later, she then calls in the win. And it is so obvious just how fucking fake her story is. I guess it's also because we know she's lying that it seems so obvious. But for a simple story, she goes into all this detail, talking about how she was cleaning her car and then she wasn't going to clean out the ashtray, but then she did clean out the ashtray, and then she wasn't going to check the game pieces that she pulled out of the ashtray, but then she did check the pieces that came out of the ashtray. And then at first, when she saw that it was an instant $1 million win, she didn't really understand what she was looking at, and she wasn't going to check again, but then she did decide to check again. So it's just like blah, blah, blah. It was just too much detail, do you know what I mean? So it just seemed quite guilty to me.
But I guess she's been coached to make it seem like...
I don't think very well.
To make it seem really mundane what she was doing. Because normally I would have thought, if I bought a McDonald's with something like that on, I'm in McDonald's, I'm going to look at it first thing, oh, I haven't won, throw it away.
Sure.
So to be like, oh, I didn't really think about it. I guess it could happen.
By this point, it's now the late 1990s, and the entire operation is just a matter of routine. They are really relaxed, they're really confident. Of course, with all this confidence, Uncle Jerry starts to get a little bit sloppy, because by this point, Columbo has enriched a lot of his own family members through various maneuverings. And Jerry decides that if he is doing that with his family, maybe I should do the exact same thing. He gives his stepbrother another instant win game piece, and he's like, please don't tell mum and dad I'm a loser. He also gives his brother-in-law $1 million instant piece win, which he doesn't actually end up cashing in because apparently he chickens out. Apparently he flushes down the toilet.
Because I guess he thinks it looks suspicious, right?
Possibly.
So how many pieces has he given out at this point?
A lot, right? In total, he's basically stolen 60 pieces.
60 pieces?
Yeah.
And how many has he given to his family?
A lot.
Wow.
A lot. Then when Jerry is at a family wedding, he gives his nephew a $200,000 instant win game piece in exchange for $45,000. But while they're negotiating, his cousin overhears and he's like, I want one too. And so Jerry hooks him up as well. By 1998, Adam, there are no legitimate winners anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
So every single big winner, I guess we're talking about here, is actually someone that Jerry's put in contact with.
Yes, exactly. The big winners. Like, people are still winning McFlurries and McDonald's and fries and stuff, but there's no like big prizes anymore. He's taking them all.
But surely someone at head office is going, why are all these winners in wherever they are or something? They must.
They're not really clicking. Because remember, the anonymous tip comes from a member of the public. And we'll explain who in a second. It never flags for McDonald's. So, yeah, it gets to the point where he's like, well, McDonald's aren't picking this up. I can afford to be a little more sloppy. But it also means that by the time he's stealing all of the pieces, those little trips to the toilet in the airport are taking way longer in just 3 minutes because he's swapping them all out, right? So he's like, I had the enchiladas last night.
Again, Jerry?
So as well as becoming a little bit too comfortable with who he gives the winning pieces to, he also starts parading his money, which again, as we know, is a massive mistake, right? He buys himself a fancy new house for him and his new wife, who apparently claims that she knew nothing about what was going on. Like, she literally thinks Jerry's family are just really lucky at playing McDonald's Monopoly. His vacations, rather than a week in Orlando, they are now like chartered yachts in the Mediterranean and places like that. He starts collecting classic cars and joins this hoity-toity kind of car club where mysteriously many of the members start coincidentally finding winning game pieces as well.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
He also gets really in there with Columbo and his associates, so he's starting to hang out with kind of the mob boss people every time he's in town or whatever. But I also noticed that they stop calling him Jerry altogether, and they start calling him Geraldo Constantino, which makes me wonder whether or not he was too white to hang out with them. So they're like, we're going to change your name.
Yeah, we can't call you Jerry.
So Jerry is riding high. But then one day, Adam, things take a turn when Columbo starts sleeping with his personal trainer. His wife, Robin, she finds out, and so things are very awkward between them. Mm-hmm. Robin is, of course, making plans to leave him. But before she does, they both get caught up in a very bad car accident, and Columbo dies as a result of his injuries.
Oh, shit.
So if Jerry, not to dwell on what's happened with Columbo because it's terrible, but to move the story forward, if Jerry wants to keep living the lifestyle that he's become accustomed to, he's going to need to find a new associate to help him find fake winners.
Has Columbo not got like a second or like a right-hand man?
I think through a bunch of the associates that he has met over the years, I think he's going to speak to a few people and he's going to find the perfect guy.
I see.
And so in 1999, Jerry starts putting the feelers out for a new middleman. Through a connection at a dinner party, he meets a guy called Andrew Glomb. So that's Glomb. Mm-hmm. He's basically a gambling addict, and he's just been released from a 12-year prison stint for smuggling 400 pounds of cocaine. There's a problem. Andrew doesn't know any straight-laced normal people.
Anymore.
He doesn't know anyone. Everyone in his orbit are either ex-cons, hustlers, drug smugglers, anyone who's exactly like he is. And so The moment Andrew gets brought into the fold, you suddenly get this run of like 8 different $1 million winners, all with really sketchy backgrounds. So every time McDonald's will do like a PR piece or an advert or whatever, you'll see a picture of the winner and they'll have like greaseback slick hair, leather jacket, rings on. They look like gangsters and they just look really scumbaggy.
I bet the first time that happened, McDonald's are like, oh, great, this is not a great winner.
No.
And then like 4 or 5 winners along, they're like, oh, why do we keep getting these people?
People are like, hang on a minute. Is like McDonald's running a loyalty scheme for the mob?
I mean, the mob can eat McDonald's, right?
Yeah,
There's a good chance that they could win.
It's just so funny. The first guy that they bring on is a known convict who runs a racketeering operation out of his Italian restaurant in Pittsburgh. He is so sleazy, Adam, when you see the pictures of him. So none of this from a PR perspective looks very good. In retrospect, again, no one's clicking just yet. But I think once you look at it all in retrospect, McDonald's is, oh yeah, this is not a golden moment for McDonald's. Meanwhile, Jerry is still handing out smaller prizes to people within his own circle. He ends up giving $50,000 to his chiropractor, who also happens to be his psychic. So not a winning combination at all.
As a psychic, you won't get caught.
Yeah, exactly. She fails to foresee that Jerry was about to get busted. So remember Columbo, right? He ended up dying in that horrific car accident with his wife. I know we didn't dwell on it, but he ends up dying. Well, Robin, of course, she was involved in that accident, and she manages to walk away almost uninjured. Columbo's family, however, they are convinced that she had something to do with that accident. And so the Columbo family decide to just cut her off financially, which sends her down a very dark path of petty crime just to support the lifestyle and to support her son. Mm-hmm. She's not good at it because she does get busted. She is sent to jail. This means that custody of her son goes to Columbo's parents, right? When she's finally released in the year 2000, Robin is dead set on getting her son back. Like, she's not going to stop at anything. But by this point, the grandparents, they don't want to give the son up. Mm-hmm. Robin says in an interview, Frankie is their first grandchild. You know how Sicilians are. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And so they're ready to play dirty. So after a fierce court case forces them to hand Robin's son over, Rick Dent at the little FBI office in Jacksonville receives an anonymous tip that Robin's father, her brother, her best friend had all won the McDonald's Monopoly $1 million prize.
I see.
So sure is a lucky family, right? But yep. This is who reported the anonymous tip.
And is it one of Columbo's parents?
Yeah, it's definitely on that side of the family because, of course, Robin has got her son back and they didn't want to give her back. You know how Sicilians are.
But did none of Columbo's parents or family win?
It doesn't sound like it. And if they had, then they probably wouldn't have sent this tip in.
Yeah, should have shared the wealth.
Yeah, spread the risk. As we know, Doug does some digging and in March 2000, they officially launch an investigation. At the time, there was another very popular game taking the country by storm, a little game show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Mm-hmm. And so Doug coins the investigation, Operation Final Answer.
I see.
Very good. So they are convinced that, of course, it's an inside job. But remember, it doesn't make this easy because of the sheer number of people involved in making the Monopoly McDonald's game a reality. It's just huge. But at the same time, they also need assistance from inside McDonald's. And unless they can get access to Ronald McDonald himself, knowing who they can approach without tipping off Uncle Jerry is going to be a tough move. So eventually they take the risk and they covertly meet with a few members of the McDonald's Global Security Division as well as the CEO, right? Mm-hmm. For all they know, it could be them, it could be anyone in there, but they're taking the risk. It's very clear straight away that they know nothing about what's going on because when they're told, they're like, what? Yes, which is exactly what a guilty person would say.
I know nothing about this.
But no, they're very concerned about the potential PR nightmare that this is going to cause. Even worse is that they're about to start a brand new round of McDonald's Monopoly.
But that must be the perfect time to go, we need to do a sting operation.
Exactly. But McDonald's are seriously considering pulling it.
But I guess the FBI are like, no, if you want to find out who this is, you need to go ahead. But this is what we're going to do differently.
Exactly. So the FBI, exactly as you said, are like, listen, do one more game and we promise you we will find Uncle fucking Jerry. We promise.
And so they know he's called Uncle Jerry.
Yes. They don't know who Uncle Jerry is. They think it's a weird pseudonym. They would never in a million years actually think...
It's actually Jerry.
It's actually Jerry.
Yeah. That's why I was just double checking. They don't know who it is, but they know there's an Uncle Jerry.
So the CEO thinks it over a bit, and eventually he agrees that they'll run the game one more time. The justification was that, and this made me laugh, we owe it to our customers to do the right thing, to basically run the game one more time, to make millions and millions of dollars, knowing that there would be no legitimate winners. So brave, Adam. So brave.
Really good of them to do that. But they will catch the culprit. I guess they had to explain to the FBI, right, this is the process. This is what happens to the pieces, this, that, and that. And so I guess that gives the FBI, right, we need to look in this area, whatever.
Yeah. The FBI in this story, for once, know what they're doing.
Good.
So in 2001, McDonald's prepares to run the new Monopoly game one last time, then 28 more times until 2014 following this. So,
but once they've caught the culprit, of course, then they can do it legitimately. They want to give back.
Yes, that's true. Meanwhile, the cops start looking for connections between all of the past winners. They manage to triangulate all the winners to like 1 or 2 degrees of separation to a potential suspect. Mm-hmm. Of course, we know him as Uncle Jerry, but at this moment in time, to the cops' amazement, they realize his name was Jerry.
Wow. So they managed to do that pretty...
so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even trying to hide his name. So when the game starts, Jerry steals both of the $1 million instant win pieces like clockwork. He hands one over to Andrew Glom, who goes off to source a new winner. Meanwhile, Jerry gives the other one that he has kept for himself to a connection of his, a guy called Dwight Barker in Kentucky. I love this bit because when Jerry hands him the winning piece, Dwight hands him $70,000, that's his kickback money, in a McDonald's bag.
What?
So it's very, very on brand, very
apt.
in keeping. Now, Dwight isn't actually going to claim the $1 million himself, and that is because Jerry had previously given his sister a $500,000 winning piece. So he obviously understands that if he claims it, it's going to look very dodgy. Mm-hmm. So what he is going to do is he's going to give it to someone else to get a kickback in exchange.
Gotcha.
So instead, he sells a piece to his associate in Texas for like $300,000. This is Dwight. And then after Dwight does that, a couple of days later, this Texan guy calls in the win. Immediately after taking that call, McDonald's calls the FBI and they're like, someone has just claimed the $1 million prize. And the FBI are like, is it John Davis from Granbury, Texas? And McDonald's are like, whoa, you guys are good.
So they knew exactly because of this. What, they've been watching him?
Exactly. The FBI have been clocking Jerry's every move after they managed to triangulate to this unimaginative pseudonym, Jerry, who turns out to actually be called Jerry. And so they knew this entire time as the competition was unfolding.
That's cool.
But also at this point, they now realize the scale of what he's been doing because since 1995, there hasn't been a single legitimate winner at all. But also, a massive chunk of all these lucky winners have all been felons.
They're
so dodgy.
That is. So how much has McDonald's given away to these dodgy people?
So much money. Well, I read that every year there's $472 million worth of prizes that they give out. But get this, only 25% of all prizes are ever claimed. So even that $1 million prize, right, even though there's 2 of them out there, it's not claimed very often. But every year, since 1995 at least, there have been 4 people claiming the $1 million prize every year. And the odds of that happening are also really low.
Yeah. They must have thought, we are paying out way more than we used to.
I don't think they're really keeping an eye on it. But I guess maybe because it's been corrupt since the inception. Right? They don't know that that's normal.
Yeah, that's true.
And so because all of these lucky winners are all known felons to the cops, the goal of the FBI now is to bust them all ideally in one go if they can.
How are they going to do that?
You know, because you've done this before. Their initial plan is to have McDonald's host a winners reunion party in Las Vegas.
And there's nothing more than what winners like to do is to talk about their winnings.
Exactly. But there's a problem because they also realized pretty quickly that when they host this winners reunion party, it's going to be less of a winners reunion party and more of a family reunion because they're all related.
Oh, hi, everyone. Yeah.
And so what they do is they say, okay, well, no one's obviously going to turn up. It's going to look really dodgy. People are going to stay away. So they decide to change tactics and they decide to only focus on the most recent winners. And this is the guy, Andrew Glom, sells his piece to. His name is Michael Hoover. He's 56. He's bankrupt. And he previously worked as a casino pit boss. So he's a felon, basically. He's a real shady guy. The FBI set up a fake commercial shoot / PR shoot to celebrate the winner. They obviously tell him ahead of time, we're going to come to your house. There's going to be cameras and stuff. It's going to be really great. The camera crew and the McDonald's execs are all actually undercover cops. They show up at Michael's townhouse in Rhode Island. They knock on the door, he opens, and suddenly it's like a game show. Everyone is cheering, congratulating him. The cameras are rolling. A fake McDonald's exec shakes his hand and then hands him a giant check for $1 million. And they're like, Michael, tell us the story about how you won McDonald's Monopoly. And so Michael just launches into this absolutely ridiculous, detailed story. He goes, I wish I could do an Italian accent. It'd be so brilliant. It's like, I was asleep one day on the beach, and then I woke up in a panic because I was running late, but I was covered from like head to toe in sand. And I was like, Jesus, I can't show up like this. And so he's like, fuck it. He rushes down to the water's edge to kind of wash it all off. But as he bends down to kind of scoop up some water, you know, as you do, his copy of People magazine slips out from under his arm and drops straight into the Atlantic. And he's devastated, Adam. He's like, I love People magazine. And so he's like, on the way home, I couldn't stop thinking about the People magazine and all the unfinished stories.
I'll never get to read.
Yeah. And eventually he's like, fuck it. So he pulls into a store to buy a fresh copy of People magazine. And wouldn't you know it, there inside of my second copy is the instant win game piece. What luck.
Someone had put a game piece inside a copy of People magazine.
Sorry, it's part of the whole sweepstake thing. So you can also, they would also put them inside magazines and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that should have been clear.
Otherwise, I was like, what?
Yeah, so you'd be like paging through, then they'd have a free win because remember, it's a sweepstake. Otherwise, it's gambling, right?
Yes.
And so, of course, while Michael is saying all of this, the cops are just there trying their best not to kind of like laugh or give away that they're all undercover. But it's so fucking fake.
It'd be so much easier just to say, yeah, I went to McDonald's, I bought a burger.
Yeah, that's all you need to say. Like, you don't need to know about the minute details, right?
I needed to know what happened to those people.
I don't know. So the FBI, they are satisfied at this point that they have enough information to start making arrests. Mm-hmm. But they don't just want Jerry, they want everyone involved, including all of the fake winners. Mm-hmm. But they can't just arrest them all one by one because as the word spread, the word would get round and then they would all make a run for it.
Especially as they're all related.
Exactly. So the FBI, they orchestrate this massive coordinated operation across the USA, hitting literally everyone at the same time. Mm-hmm. They then spend a week syncing up all the case information with all the different arresting officers across the country, which details exactly who to grab, where, when, the dates, the times, the lot. It's all, Adam, being coordinated by fax. Mm-hmm. There are hundreds of fax pinging all over the place to different police departments. The day before the arrests, they've got everything in order. Instead of sending a fax to the Greenville FBI office, someone sends the fax accidentally to the Greenville news station.
Oh.
So effectively, just before they go to arrest the people involved in this, they've basically handed every piece of information on the case to a bunch of journalists.
No. Are they going to publish that or are they going to do the right thing?
Well, the damage is minimal because I guess that they do the right thing and they hold off, but they with the agreement that as soon as they made the arrest, we can go live with these stories. Mm-hmm. And so the following morning, just before dawn, across the country in classic FBI style, they start raiding people's homes. First, they, of course, nab Uncle Jerry, who they smash down his door. They drag him out in handcuffs in front of all of his neighbors. They're all mortified. He is mortified. They set his bail to $1 million, which unfortunately didn't give him a get-out-of-jail card. They also then arrest everyone else involved, including Dwight, Michael Hoover, of course, Andrew Glom. By the end of that morning, the FBI have arrested a total of 50 people across the United States, spanning all the way back to 1989.
Including the butcher?
Oh, I don't know if they arrested him. There must have been, right?
Yeah, they would have known if they looked at it back. Although I guess he's not a villain, so perhaps it wasn't that obvious that he wasn't.
But he did claim one of the prizes. Remember, it was supposed to be his sister. So I wouldn't be surprised if the butcher did get arrested.
And like these people, they've spent that money, I suspect, in some way or another. Because
they're going to have to pay it back.
Yeah.
Of course, after the arrest, the journalists are given the go-ahead to kind of run with the story. The Attorney General at the time makes a public statement because the story is just so massive, where he goes on television and he tells the press, those involved in this type of corruption will find that breaking the law is no game.
But then the thing is, like, all these people that have bought McDonald's for the Monopoly money or whatever, get this game, did McDonald's get sued? Because people are like, oh,
class action lawsuit. Yeah.
We never stood a chance in winning. I know they didn't
Honestly,
know.
I don't think so. They must have done. Someone must have tried.
Yeah,
it's America.
I would have tried.
So basically, Jerry is now looking at 45 years behind bars, which he sort of knew could be the case if he got busted. This is why, obviously, the first $1 million prize winner was St Jude's, right? He was hoping that a jury would see him as this kind of Robin Hood kind of figure and maybe be lenient with him. But the cops are like, sure, you helped the kids, but Jerry, you also helped a hell of a lot of convicted criminals get rich. And so they say you can take the risk and use that as a defense, but considering the number of crooks that you've enriched, I don't think a jury is going to look on you very kindly.
Yeah.
And so they give him a deal and say you could plead guilty and we will ensure that your maximum sentence is just 15 years. And so it's a no-brainer. He decides to plead guilty. Of course, McDonald's CEO, Jack Greenberg, he tries to get ahead of the inevitable negative PR that's coming his way. He goes on television, he acknowledges the blunder, says that they have terminated their relationship with Simon Marketing. Adam, that basically means the end of them.
We said 95% of their revenue was from McDonald's.
Yeah, which also means hundreds of people lose their job as well. So that's all down to Jerry, basically. Out of the 50 people they arrested, they are pretty much all convicted of charges on mail fraud and conspiracy. Most receive only probation, but they are all ordered to pay back all of the prize money. 4 of the winners do manage, though, to get their convictions overturned on appeal, apparently on an account that they believe that they were duped into taking the game pieces. It made sense when I was kind of reading it, but then I was like...
How were they duped? Like, oh, you give me... Yeah, how?
It's because they knew that Jerry worked for McDonald's and they thought it was like through McDonald's officially. And yeah, it's weird.
I'm going to give you a piece of a game that you didn't get legitimately.
Yeah. Anyway, they managed to argue that and they get off.
Wow.
But in total, over 12 years, it's estimated that Jerry stole more than 60 winning game pieces, totaling $24 million in prizes.
And he must have got a few million from that easily.
Yeah. And he does try to highlight in court his little defense loophole with St. Jude's, but again, it's just completely dwarfed by the fact that he enriched all these drug smugglers and mob bosses. So.
Yeah, that was your first one. You then did 59 more.
Exactly. In the end, he is ordered to pay back $12.5 million in restitution, and he is sentenced to just 3 years in prison.
Yeah, so he's kind of lucky.
And Adam, that is the story of the McDonald's Monopoly heist. You might even say, Adam, he didn't pass go.
Wow. It's weird to think. Almost feels made up. And the fact they got away. Imagine when that news broke, people just like, what? Must be like crazy.
Actually, a lot of people haven't actually heard the story. And the reason for that is because the FBI's court case of this story, do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
It began on the 10th of September, 2001.
Oh my, are you serious?
Why does that keep happening? Like, this is the 4th time. I think we had the Monster of Florence, the millionaire coughing scandal, the eBay stalking scandal, and now the McDonald's Monopoly game all kind of got swallowed up by that void that was created by the events of 9/11. It's just wild.
That is, isn't it? And I'm sure there's more as well.
What that we've done?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Jack the Ripper.
I don't know if that was the last. But yeah, I just... and also this poor Jerry, not why I say poor Jerry, like he thought he was a bit of a loser. He wanted to try and impress his family. And now he's just brought them all down and they've all got criminal records.
That's true.
And paying back money. So yeah, still a bit of a loser.
Yes. What is lovely though, is that McDonald's, they do agree to honor the prize money that Jerry gave to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And it's lovely because it doesn't honestly seem like it was a PR move in any way. Like they just was like, they didn't draw attention to the fact that they did this. It was just quietly done. And I found that as a little footnote in The Guardian. And I was like, oh, I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger thing. I'm surprised that wasn't more prominent information.
Oh, I guess they don't want to be seen as, oh, look, we'll allow this one to slip by. They just want to, I think, just let it. It's a good deed.
But they did take up the opportunity to capitalize on it when St. Jude's first claimed the prize. They were like, this would be good PR. But at the court case, they didn't make a big song and dance about letting them keep the money.
No, I think it would just looked a bit bad. Probably put a bit of bad taste, I think, if it was Mal's.
Possibly. I like that little detail. But yeah, that is the story of the McDonald's Monopoly heist, essentially. That's what it is, a heist.
Yeah. I mean, I've never won it. to be honest. So now I know why.
Yeah.
Because of Jerry.
I don't think there was a scam in the
No, I'm
UK,
blaming
though.
Jerry.
Yeah. Anyway, fancy doing some member shout-outs?
Let's do it.
So as you guys all know by now, HR have been hard at work assigning the ideal job roles to all of our certified freaks and big top tier members.
But the only problem is, while we know your job title, we don't actually know what your job description entails.
And so, when you hear your name, please remember to take note of your job title, and then using the link in the show notes, you have an opportunity to reflect and then submit your official job description to HR. We want to know what your duties involve, who you report to, and any major incidents that may have happened under your watch.
So we'll read some of the best job descriptions on a future episode.
This week, we'd like to give a very big welcome to Gerard Skelly, our transactional juggling payload examiner, night shift.
Who does the day shift? Giles Brocking, our lead investigator of suspiciously squeaky circus benches.
Love that one. Suspiciously squeaky circus benches. Amazing. We got Ellen Holiday, our balloon not delay time analyst.
Okay. Ida Marie Tiss, our interim keeper of misplaced circus spoons.
Those damn teaspoons.
They go missing.
Jessica Fox, our compliance officer for Acrobat Confidence Inflation.
Okay, and then Dara Sanders, our incident lead for premature applause outbreaks. What's that? You clapped too soon. Get out.
And this week's best job description is from Isla from Edinburgh, who is our chief engineer for maximization of monkey nut unshelling production. Isla says she is responsible for streamlining the process of unshelling peanuts for the various animals that inhabit the compendium circus.
She also says that ensuring the maximum volume of nut by speed of shelling process is a difficult equation that varies based on the quality of the peanuts she is presented with. So it's a very hands-on job.
Very nice. So guys, take note of that. That's the kind of detail that we want. Let us know what your duties involve, who you report to, any challenges that you might face, and the best ones we'll read on a future episode. Remember, the link is in the show notes, and if you haven't received your job title, then don't panic. Just send us a DM and I will get one to you. Every single member of our Patreon has one.
So, shall we run the outro?
I think so. I think I'm ready to piss off.
Okay.
Guys, that brings us to the end of another fascinating foray into the compendium, an assembly of fascinating things. We really hope you enjoyed the ride as much as we did.
And if today's episode has sparked your curiosity, then please do us a favor and follow us on your favorite podcast app. It truly makes a world of difference and helps more people like you discover the show.
And for our dedicated freaks out there, don't forget that next week's episode is already waiting for you on our Patreon. And as always, it is completely free to access.
And if you want even more, then join our Certified Freaks tier to unlock the entire archive. You can delve into exclusive content, get a sneak peek at what's coming next. We'd love for you to be part of our growing community.
We drop new episodes every Tuesday, and until then, remember, you don't need luck to win Monopoly, just access to the banker.
See you next week.
See you next time.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.